Is someone gonna bring me up? Hey, what's going on, y'all? Fuck yeah, give it up for that episode y'all just saw. How y'all feeling tonight? Welcome to Rick and Morty, which is the show where we talk about Rick and Morty immediately after we talk about Rick and Morty.
Am I coming with you guys?
Fantastic. I'm your host, Sam J. This is gonna be awesome. I got a lot of dope guests. Are y'all ready? Yeah! Hell yeah, it's gonna be a good ass time, man. I want to start with our first guest of the evening. Please give it up. This dude, man, he's a UCB alumni, super funny. He voices somebody on the show.
Excuse me?
Give it up for Brandon Johnson.
Yes. Yes.
What up, Reed? Nah, man. You gonna hop up? You gonna hop up on it? Hop up. Give it up for Brandon Johnson.
Come on.
Hey.
So good to see you.
Very good to see you as well, man. You looking good. You
feel great.
You looking like the James Baldwin of this interview. Sit down.
Thank you so much. James Baldwin. I'm so happy to see Rick and Morty fans. Make some noise.
Yes. Nigga, that's time, man.
Come on.
How you feeling? How you feel about the episode? Pretty good?
You know, I was backstage.
Should I go behind the couch?
Bad shit happens backstage. Drugs and the whatnot. And I have to say, if you a little loose, this is a great episode. It was amazing.
Yeah. It was cool.
Amazing.
Figure it out. You look like you bought that suit from H&M. Is that an H&M suit?
I got it from B&O, which if you save up enough cigarette cartons, you can send in tabs and they'll send you the suit.
That is really like H&M is American European, B&O is European.
Oh, well, I'm cut.
I'm getting skinny. I'm not European skinny yet. I can't get an H&M suit. But I bought an H&M shirt the other day. I felt great about it. Don't take that from me.
Well,
We're gonna bring up your next guest. You guys ready? She wrote this episode. I'm just ecstatic to have her here. Give it up for Jessica Gao, guys. What's going on? Yeah. Why a cat shirt? And please don't tell me it's because you're lonely.
Because I'm lonely?
Yeah, immediately that's what I thought. I was like,
You can never be lonely if you're surrounded by cats.
True.
No, I love cats. I'm a crazy cat lady.
You're a cat lady?
Yeah.
Do you have a boyfriend though?
Yeah. Well, I have a boyfriend who's a male crazy cat lady.
Oh, you found love.
He got me into cats.
You found your lobster, girl.
No, I wasn't into cats before him.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
That's a love story. We don't got time for it, but maybe later. And our final guest, man, they started to bring this dude up. Honestly, the first dude who ever was like, let her tell some jokes on TV. Give it up for Kumail. I'm not saying his last name because I will fuck it up. Nanjiani.
Nanjiani.
Hey. How's it going?
What's going on, guys?
Hi. You asked me how to promote, how I should say, you should say my last name, and I said, just don't make a joke of it. That is literally all I asked.
You did.
Yeah, and here you are on your fucking throne. Making fun of the first person who put you on TV.
You first person put me on TV?
This is what happens. What is this?
It's sanity, dude.
Oh my God.
But I mean, you're doing this movie. You're not doing it. You did it. Big Sick. And it's
Thank you.
fucking cool. And to watch you from like Silicon Valley to what this is where you're doing it. Like you wrote it and you're in it. And it's like, bruh.
Yeah.
Talk to me. And it's really about your real life. It's about a lady you're actually fucking. That's crazy. What's up?
That is how we pitched it. We said, this is a real life. This is about a lady I'm actually fucking.
I'm really
and
fucking
she was
her.
next to me. She was like, I'm right here. I'm writing it too. Emily Gordon, my wife, and I, we wrote it together.
Yeah.
Go see it. It's in theaters right now. There you go. It's in theaters right now. Why would you not go?
Why? Why not? Unless you're racist. Challenge.
That's right. The
All
only way to prove you're not racist is to go see the Big
to
Sick.
go see it.
And
If
not
you
a
don't
matinee.
see it, racist.
Yeah. Full price. If you go matinee, that means you have internalized racism. That you haven't learned to deal with yet. You know what I'm talking about.
All right. So this is a question.
Is it racist that he jumped over me to ask Brandon?
Yeah. No, that was sexist, boo.
That's internal.
That was
Oh,
sexist.
yeah.
It was sexism.
That was dick talk. That wasn't race talk.
Let's just clarify, he's sexist, not racist.
He's definitely
guys.
sexist.
I think all men are equal.
I watched.
I pointed at him because we were talking. We shouldn't pick this up.
Yeah, let's keep talking about this.
This particular episode, we just watched Pickle Rick. I never. Yeah. All right, so this was like a big episode as far as promotion, as far as people being like really into the image, all of that. So we knew kind of the idea before we knew the idea. And Jessica, this question is not really for you because you wrote it, but like for Brandon and for Kumail, we'll start with you, Kumail. Like, how did you feel? Sorry, boo. How did far into the couch?
I'm sorry,
Far
we're
into
not-
the couch.
Go see my movie, The Big Slick.
Far into the couch. But like, when you saw all the like promotion and imagery, what did you think this episode was gonna be about?
I actually didn't see any of the promotion. I just went in.
Because you're famous now.
Yeah, I don't. My helicopter's right out there. I go helicopter to helicopter. I jump to different it's very famous. No, I hadn't seen any of the promotion. I knew he turns into a pickle, so for me, all that augmenting with the rat body and all that was totally a surprise. And it happened so early in the episode. That's what I love about it. I thought the episode would be like him trying to figure out how to get out of it. And he figures it out instantly and then just kicks ass for the rest.
He just goes straight Born Identity. Like, he turns the
Yeah.
fuck up. I love that Born Identity play. It was so good.
Is that the most violent episode?
It certainly feels like it. Yeah. It really feels like some people were working out some shit when they animated it.
Brandon, what did you think it was gonna be about? When you just saw especially because you voiced the show, you know, you have some familiarity with Dan and like how it all works. In your mind, what were you thinking was gonna happen?
I saw the crazy pickle rap moment, and I heard a little behind the scenes. Like, I just watched some stuff on.
Oh, you had the exclusive. You had the VIP a little.
I'm a fan like everybody else, so like I just stalk the show online and try and see anything.
You're like
I
the
can.
hoes that go to Diddy's party in the Hamptons, and like they're not
yes,
like
I
Diddy's
am.
main hoes, but like the third hoe.
Right.
So like they skip the eighth hoe.
Yeah, I
and
don't
they
do that.
know, like they're like, girl, no, like 50 Cent ain't coming. You
I
that
was-
nigga. Okay.
I was
don't
just
do it.
gonna say that. You're like 50
I don't get
Cent.
a wedding ring. I have to wear booty shorts.
Okay.
That's
okay.
how you know you're third hoe, when you don't get like a car and a house. out
Yeah,
of the deal.
yeah. You get an address and a time, but you don't get
Right.
like a text message like of
Right.
a number.
So I was stalking
If
the
you're
show
out here,
online.
you're a third hoe. Just so you know.
Hey, third hoe.
Hey.
So I was stalking the show online, and I saw them talking about how they had to draw the different kind of rat because they were like, we don't want the rat to be too kind because then people will feel bad that he's killing the rats. And they got really deep into how ugly the rat should be. So I was on board.
Yeah, there was a lot. That was a lot of thought. I loved how like he just got hella gangster with the rats, but then did feel bad when it was like hella dead rats. I was like, that's fucked up. It's like a rat colony, and you just took them out.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Fuck rats. I'm fine with rats getting murdered.
I mean,
Have you ever met a rat? They're awful.
I had a conversation when he was alright, but it was late night.
Yeah.
We were in the alley. It was
You
his
were
territory.
high, yeah.
Yeah. Jessica, I want to know, as the writer of this episode, or one
Correct.
of, I'm sure you.
What
have-
the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes. But like, really, where did it all stem from? How did we land on a pickle? How did we land on this type of Born Identity spin? Am I allowed to say that? Fuck you if I ain't. Born Identity spin. Like, how did we get here?
It started out as a joke pitch by Dan Harmon. Have you guys ever heard of him? So we were doing this thing in the writer's room where, to try to be more efficient, we would set a timer and we'd have to work until the timer went off, and then we get to take a break.
Okay.
And as we were watching like the last 10 seconds of the timer going off, and everybody's already getting up, getting ready to take their break, Harmon just goes, "Oh, and Rick is a pickle." And
It
then
was like American Gladiators, but you could get fired.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then we go off on break, and then we come back from the break, and we start up the room again, and we're like, yeah, so maybe Rick is a pickle. Let's explore this. And then like we just started talking about Rick being a pickle, why he would be a pickle, what would happen, what would that look like, and then it just snowballed into this story. And I loved it from the very beginning, so I campaigned really hard to like be the one to write it.
Why pickle though?
Just because Dan yelled, Rick is a pickle.
How soon after that did the rat augmenting stuff happen?
Well, pretty soon, because once we trace, like, okay, if he turns himself into a pickle, like, what kind of
You
adventure?
got to him killing rats and using their bodies right away?
Pretty quickly. Well, we knew we were going to get him into, like, the sewers pretty quickly, so then we're like, naturally.
What's he gonna do?
Naturally.
Yeah.
Right, when someone turns into a pickle,
a
the
pickle-
only way
No, it
out,
makes sense.
kill a rat,
It does
augment
make
their
sense,
body.
so-
The last piece of the puzzle was actually that weird unnamed embassy. That was like the last piece.
Oh, okay.
of the
But like it makes sense though because like if you're a pickle, you can only roll into situations.
Yeah.
You're not gonna walk. You're a pickle. What can you roll into? A sewer. What's
Yeah.
in a sewer? Right. I follow you.
See?
I also
He gets it.
I also
get it.
smoked a lot of
He
weed
doesn't
before
get it
I
'cause
walked
he's
up
sexist.
here.
That's why.
But I get it.
Yeah.
You gotta roll the shit. You're not going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta.
you're right. It's such a female idea. The pickle kills the. How could a man come up with that?
This is like a question for the panel. But when you watch the Pickle Rick episode, it's like the whole thing is really about him getting out of a thing that he doesn't want to do, and he goes to this level of extreme. I want to know, and I want to start with you, Kumail, because you just did a movie about falling in love and being married and all that shit, which is like that process. You
But
dodge.
someone I'm actually fucking, yeah.
Yeah, you dodge a few bullets though. So
That should be the sequel. Actually, fucking now.
So I'm not actually fucking, so that's real, and I'm married. You should make a movie. Listen, I'm gonna tell you personal stuff. I don't care about you guys. But like, what extreme have you gone to? And this is for all you guys, to get out of a situation. Like, cause that was far. So how far have you guys gone to get out of something you really didn't want to do? And I'm gonna start. No, I want to start. Kumail. I don't want, cause you wrote it, so you probably already thought about it. I want to start.
No, go
naked.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, every single time I turn myself into a pickle, I kill a bunch of rats, and then I end up in a fucked up embassy. Every single time.
So it's just as autobiographical as my
the big
movie
sick,
is.
yeah, absolutely. This Pickle Rick is my big sick.
Brandon?
I had to fake a little diarrhea.
You fake some diarrhea.
And it's-
How do you fake
How
diarrhea?
far did you had to produce some sort
how do you
of
fake diarrhea,
like
though?
some-
Yeah, you could just
I mean-
tell someone.
No one questions you if you say
Nah, if you say you have diarrhea.
There you go,
So you're not
motherfucker.
faking diarrhea.
Yeah, you're
You
just
don't
saying
make
you
fake
have it.
diarrhea, make a spill.
But you do make this face that conveys diarrhea.
Oh.
And then you hold your stomach, and then people realize
You
that a
use
grown
all
ass
that
man
Second
wouldn't
City-
do that shit.
Use all
Unless
that.
you really had diarrhea.
Use
And it
all
was for a
that.
bullshit reason. I'm gonna be honest, since I was a bartender, and they were like, "You gotta work snack bar," and I was like, "I got diarrhea."
That's your diarrhea face?
Diarrhea does make you angry.
All right, so fake diarrhea. You wrote your story.
I had my grandfather die a bunch of times.
For work?
Yeah, for work.
Me too. Let's talk
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
How like I killed my granddad. Was he dead for real though?
The
'Cause
one
if he
I
wasn't, you're a fuck nigga.
A what?
Fuck nigga. That means you wish death upon your grandpa. You wasn't moving right. My
That's
grandpa
the
was already
definition
dead.
of that phrase?
Yes.
The definition of fuck
Nigga.
is that you wished your grandfather dead.
One of many.
Yeah, you would be a fuck nigga if you wished your grandfather.
One of many. Thank you.
What would
I
that
got 2 people from the Black Caucus now. We on. I'm right.
I had one grandfather who was alive, but I was thinking of the one who was already
Always dead. Me too.
Okay,
Oh,
so
can we
we're
hug?
good. So
Can we
I'm not
hug?
a-
Hug it up.
So I'm not a fuck.
Always. I always thought of my dead granddad.
Yeah, I always
my
thought of
great-granddad.
like, yeah. I
How
was
many
like,
lives?
How many times did he die?
How many times did he die?
He died twice.
Mine died like 12 times.
Really? He died at, because I didn't have that many jobs. So
No, I had a lot of bullshit jobs, and like he would always die, but I would string along to death. So this is what I want to know.
You would string along the death?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, he could die any moment.
Yes, I was one of them, because I needed bad days off. So it's like, I got to go to Florida for a week. He can't die Monday. Then got to be sick. I got to go to Florida all of a sudden. Then I got to watch over him.
And then he
Then all of a
pulled
sudden, he dies.
Oh, but you could like, he pulled through, I'm back, and then a couple
Nah,
weeks later,
yeah,
he's like,
I
oh,
did that.
it's bad
There was
again.
a few pull-throughs. There was
It's
a
bad
few
again.
pull-throughs.
But you can get diarrhea any day.
Yeah.
I might have a little bit right now.
There's your diarrhea face.
Yeah, there's the diarrhea face.
Brandon, you're actually in this episode. You know, you play Golden Fold, like you're the voice of Golden Fold.
Oh, and he eats diarrhea. What is with you?
Not specifically diarrhea, just
That's
poo.
right, just poo.
You did
Yeah.
voice. As a guy who like voices the show, like, one, where did that voice come from? Like, what did you embody to spit that particular voice? Because it's such a weird, it reminds me of principles I've had that were like my strong black principal, but then it also reminds me of like my really pervy white gym coach. So how did you mesh this man?
I had a math teacher who taught math as if it was the only way for black kids to get out of the ghetto. So he would always teach math, but be like, 4 + 4 is 8. Now you gotta remember that. Because the white man is coming for you. You don't stand a chance in these streets without math. Calm down, motherfucker. I'm gonna drop
crazy.
out anyway. So I knew one day as a dropout that payback was gonna have to come.
Yeah.
So when Dan was like, do this voice, and I was like, oh, I know this motherfucker. Gotta be afraid to learn. Like, no, motherfucker. No. He also could not say certain words, so he'd be like, now when a mollusk comes, we'd have this mollusk and different types of Salinterata.
What is a mollusk?
I'm like, mollusks?
What
Well,
is
they
that?
live in the ocean.
Oh.
But like, what do they do in the ocean?
A mollusk eats types of things on the ground. A snail can be a mollusk. Usually they have a different type.
Mollusk.
Yeah.
They have different
Mollusk.
types of
You do it so well, I feel like it's an uncle that you hate.
revenge.
It's just like you hit it so
Revenge.
hard. You hit it so hard.
Yeah. So you know, I just want to say to all the dropouts, get on your job of making fun of people who told you couldn't do shit.
Just as a writer of the show, first, like, tell me what experience was like. Like, is this the first episode that you've written? If not, tell me about other ones.
Of Rick
if
and
it
Morty?
is. Yeah.
Yes.
And like, what was that like? Like, did you like? Cause I know, like, I've written a few things, cause I'm kind of popular, and they can be restricting at times. Like, how did you feel about this process? And beyond that, how did you like insert you into this process?
Other than it being based on my life.
Is this based on your life? Your dad turned himself into a pickle?
I mean, I have a lot of unearned confidence, so I came into it not Well, I'd also written like on a bajillion shows by
She's
the time.
written on Silicon Valley.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I used to write for Silicon Valley. So, like, you know, I'd written for like animated shows, and I'd written for live. I wasn't nervous about it. I'd written so many scripts already, and I was just excited because, like, this was an episode where Dan clearly had a really clear idea of what he wanted, and I had a really clear idea of how I wanted to write it. And so this was the episode that kind of just sailed through everything. Like most of the episodes, like, you know, it goes to the room and it goes through like a million versions. This only went through like 2 drafts, and then it was like ready to go. Like, this was the fastest, easiest one, just because it started with a really clear vision, and like everything was just working for it.
And how did the therapy stuff come into it? 'Cause
So
I was about to go there.
Well, we'd been talking about like, you know, overall seasonal stuff, and because we'd started on this path of like the divorce, and like clearly the kids were acting out, we wanted to continue that. And I can't remember at what point in like breaking the story we were talking about, but we were saying, I think maybe it came from us talking about what was he like? Why would he turn himself into a pickle? And so then we thought it'd be funny if like maybe he was avoiding this like very like mundane, easy thing. And we also really like the idea of like insane violent action like juxtaposed with these like very quiet like elevator music like therapy scenes.
Yeah.
And I also like wanted the therapist to have the last word over Rick because it's so like, you know, you expect Rick, because Rick always dominates every single person.
Yes.
And so I really, really wanted some person in the world.
She trumped him.
Yeah, totally.
And it was dope as fuck.
And I love that. I love that moment. Yeah.
It was such a dope little turn.
Yeah. I love the moment where
Rick,
when Rick says his shit and then he sits back like so
he had to
pleased.
eat what she said.
Yeah.
But this is my question because like when I was watching it, it was like clearly like because I love Julia Roberts, so I've watched Stepmom a million times. Clearly. Fuck you, Stepmom.
Yeah.
Clearly,
what she's really known for,
was
Stepmom.
like Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, Julia Roberts' biggest movie.
Yeah, Stepmom.
No,
you don't even have to say the title.
Stepmom, right.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
But it was like clearly Susan Sarandon is the voice of this shit.
Yeah.
She's the voice of the therapist. When you were writing it, was that the voice of the therapist?
No, because the therapist is named Dr. Wong. Clearly, I wasn't picturing Susan Sarandon.
Hey, you whitewashed.
Thank you, Kumail.
It's true. It's a whole thing.
Your
I know.
imagination could go anywhere.
Oh,
Here's the
yeah,
thing,
you
so-
totally Ghost in the Shell did.
Oh man, this is rough.
Thank you.
No, this was like a whole thing. Like, so when I wrote it, I specifically named her Dr. Wong because there hasn't been any Asian characters, and like anytime I can, I want to give like an Asian actor who isn't Kumail like a job, you know. And so we actually like, you know, I wrote her as Dr. Wong. She's drawn as Dr. Wong, and we actually like started like auditioning all like the gamut of like Asian actresses. And in the middle of like auditioning these Asian actresses, we get word that Susan Sarandon wants to be on the show.
She loves the show.
Yeah.
That's right.
Suspicion she says she loves the show. The suspicion is maybe her kid loves the show. Oh. And so you know, she wants to then like, you know, we're not gonna say no to Susan Sarandon asking to be on the show. And this was like the very next like meaty female role that was gonna be on the show. So they gave it to Susan Sarandon.
It was so good in her voice though.
Yeah, and her voice is
balancing.
great. Yeah, I mean like she's wonderful. She's great, but you know, she's not the Dr. Wong I pictured, you know. And
What did you picture?
An Asian person.
Yes, exactly.
But who?
An Asian person.
No, but who?
Literally, like there were
Constance
so many.
Wu.
There could have been so many like Asian women who could have done it, you know.
Hey, fuck you. Where's the camera at?
Where's the camera?
Hey,
Why
what?
right here?
Fuck you, Susan Sarandon. That should have been Ali Wong's role.
Amy Hill's role, like
Bitch.
Tamlin Tomita's role, you know.
Right. We just
anyway.
we cleared that up.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm staying out of it.
Also,
I have no opinion.
Kumail wants you to have nothing to do with his career. As a person that is now officially written an episode, diving in an episode, and all you guys really, like, who do you think is the most damaged of this family unit? Because this is definitely this fucked up family unit. Who do you think is really the most broken? And then who do you think is the most sound? Like,
Is this
where's
for
the
me or the
balance
whole
and where's the
panel?
disarray? This
For
is
you.
for the whole
For me.
panel, but I want an entry
Okay.
with you, and then we'll just talk about it.
Yeah.
I also want an entry with someone tonight.
That would be revisiting old entries, though.
Yeah, and a few old injuries.
I think currently, I would say Beth is probably the most fucked up.
Ooh.
But in the future, definitely Summer is gonna be more fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm team Summer's damaged.
Yeah,
After
totally.
the episode, like right before this, where they went to that fucking Mad Max situation and she was wilding, I was like, Summer's fucked, bro.
Yeah, totally. Summer
I was
is for
like,
sure.
Yeah, we're going down a dark hole.
Yeah, Summer's
And this
gonna
is
get
a
some
bad, this is
real
a-
regrettable
because
body modification in the
weird thing
future.
with Morty is like, he's been living in it because Rick has forced him because that was his homie. So Rick kind of early was like, hey, nigga, shit's crazy.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
exactly
mean?
how he talks.
Man up, bro. Like, that's how he talks in my mind when I watch it. He's like, hey, nigga, the world's fucked. So he was like, early on, like, I
Yeah.
gotta accept a lot of shit. But Summer was a little
Yeah.
more sheltered, and now she's like, oh, it's time to turn up. So she reminds me of them hoes that go on Murray and be like, I suck dick for spearing off ice, you know?
Yeah.
She's about to lose.
She's gonna become the Cash Me Outside girl,
Yeah,
is what's gonna happen, right? Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, totally.
She so catch me outside.
Yeah.
100. I feel that so much. Kumail.
Now you gotta follow Cash Me Outside.
Kumail.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You really don't?
No, I don't.
Oh my God.
There's a girl, you gotta look her up. I can't
Yeah.
get into it with you. I'll tell you out back, but it's nuts.
Yeah.
But
Big Sick Part 2 is gonna be you and this girl.
Okay.
what do you think though? Like, who do you think is the most broken in all of this,
Oh.
character-wise?
I do think Summer, yeah. She's got, because I like, Rick is fucked up, but he knows he is what he is. Summer is like trying to not be what she is, which I think is it's very compelling. She's trying to be like the Mad Max stuff. It was like, I'm totally normal, and then inside is a tempest. So
There's some shit.
Is the dad coming back?
I can't say. I can't tell you that. You gotta watch every week.
I will watch every week, but he is. Okay. I do. He's a great character.
I love Jerry.
Brandon, as a person who's worked on the show, as a voice for the show, you do Golden Fold, of course. We already discussed it. I want to know, what is your favorite part of like voicing the show, working with Dan, working with Justin? They're
really cool about letting me make up stuff. So there's stuff that like I think is going too far, and they're good at keeping it. The writing is always top notch, so there's not a lot of stuff for me to make up. I got to say that shit right now.
Get that out
You
the
sit
way.
next to a writer, they're like, Golden Fold was killed. You didn't know, Brandon? Like, it's like, I saw you drive by the studio, and then we were like, why the fuck does he show up?
We found your old math teacher, and you're using him instead.
I told you should have studied math, faggot. You were right, ma'am. You were right. Thank God for weed. But they're like really cool about letting you play as much as possible. And honestly, the stuff that I think I'm doing wrong, they're like, oh, we're keeping that. So it's the greatest job in the world. It's honestly, I honestly can say it's like the best thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah. Because my resume is like this big. It's this and Cops.
What's the worst
saw
thing
me
you've
on
ever
Cops.
done? What was the worst job you
I
had?
played a Jamaican at a backyard barbecue.
That's
I had
crazy.
to take my shirt off and wear a drum. That might have
Did
been
you?
a low point.
That's nuts.
That was yesterday.
I was really hoping it would be for the movie Stepmom.
This is a question I really want to ask all you guys, and we'll just start with Kumail and just go down. What is your favorite episode of the show? Like, what episode, and when I say favorite, I mean what episode of the show made you go, this is a show I'm going to keep watching?
Well, from the first episode, I was like, it really is crazy how good it is, and it's crazy that people I know make it. Like, it's. But I would say I love the poopy butthole episode, and I love this where they keep splitting into different realities. Those were one. I just watched those again, and I was like, this is intimidating.
Yeah, it's like, you watch Rick and Morty and like, how people get to think like that.
Yeah. It's
The
like, how do
freedom
they-
of thought is fucking insane. It's like, my mind, because of like oppression and poverty, it hits a wall. It's like, niggas got Maseratis and I'm done. But it's like white boys who just do mushrooms all day, they're like, nigga, portals. What's up? It's like, the shit be running, bro. You're like, oh my God, man.
That's what it says
That
in
is
the writer's
beautiful.
room.
Nigga, portals.
Yeah.
What's up?
That is the
But
great.
there's nobody in the writer's room that can read that out loud.
No one's allowed to. We just have to point to it, yeah.
What about you, Jessica?
Oh, I was gonna say, that's the great thing about the show is that, like, in most TV rooms, once you start like with a nugget of an idea, there's like several ways that it's gonna be done, and you know it's like one of like 3 different ways the story's gonna unfold. But in Rick and Morty, they're like, no, we can't do anything. If you're expecting the story to go a certain way, you can't do it, or you have to subvert it, or you have to push past it. And the other great thing about it is that like they're not afraid to like amp it up. It's always cut to the chase. Like if we're waiting for 10 minutes for this action sequence to happen, let's just do it in the next minute, you know?
Yeah.
And then you can come up with more stuff.
We were talking about that in the back with this particular episode because like it got really amped up really fast. But what I loved about it was like Born Identity on crack.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, all the things like it was like, oh, now he's got a new body. Now he's threatening them. And then when he was like, oh, fuck you, I got all the codes, and that dude just shot everybody, it was like, oh, it's turn. It's like it immediately, but it's like I watched Born Identity for the draw out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's kind of better in 20 minutes. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah, that thing clips along. It's great. My favorite episode is Meeseeks.
Yeah. I always talk about that episode. People
Who
like
does the voice of Meeseeks? Do we know?
Justin.
people don't
does.
fucking like. I talked about it in the first like live stream we did, but for me, what was dope about the Meeseeks episode is it told you what this family was immediately. It told you how everyone was broken immediately, because it was like, here's a thing that could grant everybody's wish, and immediately you saw where everybody was broken. And you immediately got tuned into like, this is how it's all gonna be fucked up.
Yeah.
This person's empty here, this person's empty here, this person's empty here, all by what their choices were. And then how they tailored that to like create a series arc and then a fucking seasons upon seasons arc was genius. Yeah, nigga, I be watching this shit, you fuck nigga. All you hoe ass fucking nerds that were like, why is this about therapy? Fuck you, bitch. I watch this shit. But anyway, it was very dope.
Were upset.
This wasn't for you. It was very dope because it was like, here's how everybody's broken, and then here's how everyone's gonna search to get fixed. They introduced it so early in right time that it was truly my favorite episode of the show.
Meeseeks is a shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a shit because also
Mind blown.
we've all been Meeseeks. Like,
Yes.
what the fuck do you want me to do? I'm doing everything I can.
Yes.
What are you doing here?
But it was like,
because you didn't do your
but
job.
the deeper shit, and then we'll hop off of it. The deeper shit was the choices for me. It was like the fact that Jerry picked his golf swing, but his golf swing was more about his ego and more about how broken he was and how deep that got. But then his wife picked like someone who could hear me.
Yeah.
And then his, daughter picked like, I just want to be part. It was like everybody's choice framed the family.
Yeah.
And how they were gonna keep communicating and keep working and growing from there.
Also,
and
that
that
funny.
was dope as fuck. It was such a smart pick.
And that they would just keep showing up. and
Right.
keep showing
It was
up
such a
and
smart
keep
pick.
Showing up. It's crazy.
It's also funny because the two people, everyone picks difficult things. One person just picks a golf swing.
Yes.
And that's the one. That,
But that's the most broken one.
that's
it was
the one
dope.
that they can't figure out.
Yeah.
And the only advice they could give you was like, try harder, keep practicing,
Yeah.
try harder. It was great. It's great.
So we're about to get into the Q&A part of it, but I wanted to ask you guys as a panel one last question. Because this is like, I feel like with Rick, it's always where does his morality lie? So was he wrong or right about not telling Jaguar about the fact that he had infinite daughters? We'll start in the middle with the person who wrote the show. We'll start with Jessica.
Well, obviously the script is perfect, so whatever's in the script is obviously the right answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I were in Rick's position and I was like trying to get to like therapy to save my life, I'd be like, I don't have time for this shit. Yeah, like you don't have infinite daughters. Like, yeah, I can't get into
So
this
he
right
was
now.
right.
Yeah.
All right, Kumail.
I mean, that's what I would have done. It is like, like someone, when people are like, oh, do you want to do a show this night? I'm like, oh, I'm out of town. I'm sorry. It's the same kind of thing.
Right,
yeah.
You can't go to another universe and get your daughter. You'll
Yeah.
deal with it.
You're sentencing yourself to like at least a week of time now for this person. Yeah.
Brendan.
I mean, as a person that does have infinite daughters because of random sexual encounters, I feel
Black
like,
sperm is strong, y'all.
I feel like knowing helped me, have relationships with these daughters. So I feel like he probably wanted to know, but I do feel like the writers have set up that there are infinite, because there's also infinite Ricks and
Yes.
infinite Mortys. So I thought it was sort of a callback. So I don't think he had to tell him.
Cool.
I mean, if I had like infinite daughters, I would probably like be like, yeah, let's fucking do something. Like we would work together as a team.
Right. This is what I think. I think eventually he's gonna have to let go of that. Like, it's a thing he holds on to stay in his like immorality.
Yeah.
And eventually, eventually he's gonna have to like be a real nigga about it, and then face that, and then like conquer it at some type of level. Because like, even in that moment, it was like you had a real nigga moment with Jaguar. You could have been a real nigga. You could have just been like, bro, because he was still gonna do what he was gonna do. So he could have been like, bro, like, there's infinite niggas, but you still gonna run. But it's like he's still choosing wrong, even though it's coming out right. So I'm waiting for the wall, where it's like, you get crashed with all of this, and you gotta decide what man you wanna be now.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's coming. All right, guys, questions. Town hall. Let's do it. We're gonna do this Q&A. So y'all just line up. Whoever's anxious first, go first. I'm not gonna pick people out. Don't be hoe niggas, we out here. No, go, just hit the mic. Hit a line, and we just gonna run it. And then you can ask whatever you wanna ask.
Say what your name is and where you got that chain from.
What's your name is, where you from, and let's go.
I got this online.
Break this out. Let's see this. Break this out. We
Pull
want
it
to
out.
see you.
Oh! Hey,
We're going to
so
call you Pretty Boy Rick.
All right, okay.
What's up?
I have a question about Hammer Morty. Will we see a return of Hammer Morty at all in the show?
Anything that happens beyond today, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yo, who's next? Line up.
Come on, guys. Have you not been to
No,
Comic-Con?
guys.
Line up.
Comic-Con, hit this line, ask these questions.
There we go.
Bam.
Oh, look at the shirt. He's got the shirt on.
Pickle Rick.
Waited in line for this. It was a big turn for Rick to admit he was wrong at the very end. Was that a big choice? Did that take
Yeah,
discussion in the room?
Yes, totally, because we were like, we have to really, really put him through hell to get him to get to that point, you know? And that's why it's so sweet when then Dr. Wong totally just dominates him.
That was a great monologue.
Yeah.
Is Pickle Rick kosher pickle or dill pickle?
Oh man, depending on my answer, I wonder if I could get sponsorship.
Save elastic.
For the record, my favorite pickle of all time is Boar's Head kosher dill. That's what I'd like to imagine Rick is. Boar's Head, please sponsor me.
All right, back to episode 1, the very first episode, right? They're walking through the portal, airport, whatever, and you hear for a split second, one of the aliens talking about a flim flam. What's a flim flam?
Oh man, you gotta ask Justin. Anything that doesn't sound like a real word came from the depths of Justin's mind.
Sometimes I
And
watch
we just
it,
roll with it.
and I'm like, I wish I was as high as this nigga, bro.
Yeah.
So I would know, because
Yeah.
it's like, it goes so, I'm
Yeah.
like,
I want to know every part of a
That's
plumbus,
crazy.
you know? I want to know what fleam is.
I want to know what a flim flam. I want to eat it. You know?
Oh, that's between you and your maker, dude.
Flim Flam Man.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
So you said that it started with the idea of Dan saying he's a pickle, and then you went back and said, why is he a pickle? He's doing it to avoid something. Were you guys cognizant of the fact that him being a pickle is to get out of being in a pickle?
you studious as fuck. You studious as fuck.
Heather Hooks.
You studious as fuck.
Heather Hooks, ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen.
man, hire her. Hire her. Job.
Heather Hooks. Heather Hooks, ladies and gentlemen. Say her name.
Job.
Man,
You better do it, girl.
this fucking sucks because Boarhead's going to sponsor her and not me now.
Now you. She knew. She knew what you wrote. You didn't even know what you wrote.
Heather Hooks ain't no joke.
Yeah, you about to have some dumb shit about weed.
There are no dumb questions
Go ahead
about
with your
weed.
lesser question.
So the episode with the Council Bricks, we saw a crossover with Gravity Falls, because I know you hear a lot of the voice actors.
Shit.
You know, they do a lot. And I was wondering, is there any other connections that will be coming up in the season, or just gotta
She can't answer.
Come on, dude. I can't tell you anything else that happens in the season.
NDA is like Justin Bieber when he's with prostitutes. NDAs,
Yeah.
baby.
I can tell you there will be a crossover with Boondocks.
Yeah!
And we are also crossing over with QVC, where I'll be selling these suits. Rick and Morty brand suits, y'all.
Hey.
They're the ricketiest.
Thank you.
He took it old school. He knew his Rick and Morty history.
What the hell's a plumbus?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And why does everyone need one in their home?
I Googled that shit today. I Googled that shit today, young man. So you answered a solid question.
If you get the season 2 DVD, it comes with a plumbus instructional manual.
Does it?
Yeah.
I was about to say, I feel like it's like the seashells and Demolition Man. I'm never gonna know.
Right.
Yeah.
That was for all of us over 30.
That's what we all want to know, but you're gonna have to ask Justin.
Okay.
Do we got any more
But if you
questions?
find out, find me, because I would like to know too.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions? Are we good? Y'all scary? All right, cool. I'm ending this motherfucker. Thank you guys so much for coming out to Rick and Morty. You've been absolutely fucking phenomenal. Give it up for all your guests, Brandon Johnson, Jessica Gabb, Kumail and Nanjiani. It was dope. Tune in for the next episode. We out this bitch.
Be careful walking off.
Be careful.
This.
Thank you.
Did you have fun? Was it